Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Farvell, with my co-hosts Ben and Sean. We are back for another episode. Got a lot to get into tonight. Notre Dame's recruiting starting to pick back up after another huge recruiting weekend with multiple five-stars on campus for the USC game. We'll kind of get into talk about that. Notre Dame lands another commitment for the 2027 class. And obviously, we're going to discuss Notre Dame running through USC like a red light for the third straight year in a row. Jeremiah Love having himself a record-breaking day, the most yardage ever by a Notre Dame running back in Notre Dame Stadium with all the great Notre Dame backs we've had. That's an insane stat. So we got a lot to get into. Got a big show tonight on a bye week. Guys, how are you doing? And what do we make of the big win against USC this past weekend?
Ben first.
No, I don't like beating up autistic kids, but sometimes you just gotta let USC know where they're at halfway through the season, like usual.
Yeah, Sean,
that's wild. I think it was a great game. I had certain opinions. It eerily reminded me, ref wise and extra point wise, of the A&M game, but the reverse felt like we could finally finish, right? So, penalty wise, I was getting a little annoyed that and it blew my mind. USC fans were talking about refs. Well, I do agree 100%. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. That kickoff had a blatant hold that was missed, but
I didn't see it.
Oh my god! But
I didn't see it.
If they called that a hold, it would have caused way too much controversy. Just let the play go.
I will say this: I do think there is a difference in terms of plays of a hold happening behind the play and a hold happening in front of and side by side with the play. And I think the hold was behind him already and had no impact on the play. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I did think the refs were kind of atrocious with some of these calls, especially they had a whole drive where they went down the field and got a field goal just from defensive pass interference and holding penalties. But I felt like we played good. The running game was established well. Carr's worst game, and we went out there and just established a run and showed them who we were. I was incredibly impressed with Otting. At center, he looked really good for his first career start against a ranked opponent. And Schrouth, MVP of the game other than Jeremiah Love. Dude was a beast. And let me tell you this, Christian Gray, man, stepped up. Ryan said this once, and this has always been because of that, my opinion with Christian Gray. And it's people give him too much shit, and he's a good corner. And the reason that he might not look as good is because when you have Benjamin Morrison and Leonard Moore on one side, you're getting all of the targets. And when you get 100% of targets, things are going to happen, right? So that's why he looks so hot and cold. But he's a really talented player. I was impressed with we got a few breaks with that stupid fumble. There was a point in the game where before the kickoff return, I was like, oh, boy, right? But the team had the resiliency to turn it around. Marcus Freeman put his hat on to keep his hairline, and the team was coached pretty well throughout the whole game. So fairly impressed, whether this is the last time or not. Fuck USC. You can't spell stuff without USC. It's going to get renewed, but if it was the last time, it's going out on top, and I'm pumped for it.
Yeah. On that Christian Gray note, I've said this since last year. There's no in between with Christian Gray. It's either a huge play and he's getting absolutely cooked, or it's a great play where he's getting an interception. There's no in between. He had a good play on the ball here, and there's none of that. It's just either really good or really bad with Christian Gray. That was he has the pick, but that was after he got absolutely torched by Jacoby Lane, where it felt like he got beat by 10 yards on that play. I thought that, he stepped up after that. I love what the comment that Freeman told him on the sideline after he got beat by Jacoby Lane, where he's like, "Hey man, look, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. Nobody feels bad for you right now. You got to step it up and go out there and do something." And he did the very next drive, getting that pick. Which if we had a field goal kicker, we should have got 3 points out of that drive. The kicking situation has been very concerning again this year. I don't know why we keep bringing in transfer portal kickers that immediately get hurt. But
and then they go to the NFL and they look great.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Spencer Schrader, my king.
Spencer Schrader, and who?
Well, Aubrey
Mitch
never
Gator.
kicked for us.
Blake Grupe.
Oh,
Blake Grupe, Money Mitch. But no, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, no doubt. It's not even close. Was it J.D. Piquel said it's a mile between our running back room and the next best running back room in the nation?
Well, yeah, because Allen and Singleton suck now.
all the people that after the first couple of games of the season are like, Ahmad Hardy's the best back in college football, and look what he's done against actual competition. Looks like shit. Yeah.
Love is the only skill position player projected on the Heisman list right now.
Yeah, he is. And so I don't want to hear any Ahmad Hardy bullshit, Jeremiah Love slander ever again. Oh, Jeremiah Love only stat pads against bad teams. Because USC, let's not act like this was just the same old USC defense. Everybody told us before this matchup, man, USC fixed their defense, man. This defense is good.
Yeah,
I had people in the group chat tell this defense is good. They got
They
a
looked
good
better
defensive
against the
line.
pass, but looked worse against the run.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
it.
They really fixed it. They actually, stats wise, they got worse against our running game from last year than they did this year. But they can't be the narrative, because they told us coming in it was fixed. They held Michigan to 100-something rushing yards. They dominated Michigan on the line of scrimmage. That's a statement win for USC. They're a tough football team.
That's why I said they should hang the banner next to the O.J. Simpson retired jersey. Hang the banner. We ran for 158 yards. Held Michigan to 60 yards. We won by 24 points. That's the best USC has done in 10 fucking years. Is that one Michigan game? They have pulled Brian Kelly after Brian Kelly after Brian Kelly of disappointment.
Dude, to be honest too about USC,
go ahead.
I do think, why the hell is Michigan ranked 25 and USC is unranked at 26?
We'll get into that. We'll get into that, the AP poll reaction.
It's only because of recency bias. It's so stupid.
They'll be ranked ahead in the poll.
Yeah, they'll be ranked ahead within the next 2 weeks.
But getting back to that,
USC game, I do want to say the exact thing that I said that was going to happen happened. The USC was going to keep it close, and then it was going to come down to, we have to make a play where USC has to be tougher than us. And what does USC do? They don't fourth and inches. They don't run it up the middle. They don't say, have our lineman meet your lineman in the backyard and let's go at it. They roll it out.
That was stupid. That was a Notre Dame TJ Carr against Boise State type.
What, Ben, what does that tell your team about
that Lincoln Riley's a fucking pussy?
Yeah, he doesn't
want to play hard-nosed football. He doesn't want to. And when they did that stupid fucking wide receiver pass shit, the moment he ran down, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to win this fucking game. Because Lincoln Riley is tucking his tail between his fucking legs. He knows he can't beat us in the middle, so he's going to the outside. And it's not going to work for him if they couldn't to the outside.
Part of the reason they beat Michigan was they had success running the football.
They moved Michigan off the line.
They couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
You can trash our defense and how they've been inconsistent this year. The one thing that has been very consistent is the run defense, which is last year. What was the weakness of last year's defense? The run defense,
Christian Gray.
Christian Gray. But the run defense has been great. I mean, King Miller. I love how the narrative went again from USC fans before the game. Man, we don't need our starting running backs. We got King Miller. He ran for 150 yards on Michigan. We're just fine. They lose to Notre Dame. The running back did nothing. Oh, well he's our third string running back. What do you expect to do?
I do want to point out there was that 1 year against USC where they had a third string running back from Ben This Indiana, who ran for like 125 yards on us. So maybe, like in the past history of the rivalry, it worked. They weren't wrong. It didn't work on Saturday, but it had worked before.
But what's sick about it, right, is I thought it was so sick online seeing all the USC fans being like, "Oh man, I'm so glad this rivalry's done. Please let this be the last time we play Notre Dame." That is such a pussy mentality.
It feels good. We beat y'all's ass so bad, you don't even want to play your rival anymore.
Bro, no,
Did you see what Marcus Freeman said about Michigan?
No, I didn't see that.
He said something how he wants to bring the Michigan rivalry back. I saw.
I bring that back. At least that Michigan wouldn't be scared to play us
At
every year.
least they help our strength of schedule.
Yeah, but and then getting back to the game, I mentioned this, and I'm gonna take some credit for it, kind of like Ben did with how he thought the game would play out. I said you have Leonard Moore shadow Makai Lemon the entire game, and he did that pretty much the entirety of the game in the slot. And Leonard Moore, to me, this past weekend proved without a doubt, it's not even close. He is the best corner in college football. He locked down Makai Lemon. He held him to 3 catches for 28 yards the entire game. Coming into this game, people are saying he was the best receiver in college football. And he held him to 28 yards on 3 catches. I got told by a lot of people in the group chat, they're never going to do that. Leonard Moore doesn't play the slot. They did it.
I said
they did it.
No, I said if they did it, it would be rarer than what it was. But I will say this:
what they were doing was that they were lining up guys who just matched better.
Benjamin Morrison. I think he's officially better than Benjamin Morrison.
Oh no,
I don't know.
He's all around more. He's all around.
He's never done what Benjamin Morrison did against Tom. Like Makai Lemon, he's got to be a second day guy. He's got to be a second rounder. But Benjamin Morrison locked down Marvin Harrison Jr., the best receiver in the country.
And he held Marvin Harrison Jr. to 16
I will say this. We also did not give Leonard Moore the opportunity against Jeremiah Smith in the national championship game. And I don't think Leonard Moore has gone up against the guy.
And now
I don't think Leonard Moore has gone up against the guy. I don't think he's had the opportunity to. So
when
if
Moore
he
next year as a junior is lining up against certain guys, I think it's gonna. And in the playoffs, we'll see it in the playoffs. But I think Benjamin Morrison was better at what he was as a lockdown. But I think as an all-around corner, Leonard Moore is better as an all-around do more corner.
Well, and I've said before, I see Emo. I saw him more as like a Trent McDuffie. Like he's got to stay in your face. He's got to make hard contact with you. He's gonna pressure you off the line. I see Leonard Moore as more of like I don't know. Who did I compare him to when we were talking about Fravel?
You said Marcus Lattimore
Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore before he started becoming a pussy. Yeah.
Here's my thing too, right? I love Leonard Moore, and I think he's got higher potential and higher ceiling than BMO did, right? Because I think he's just got the size, the length, something that BMO did. BMO had to be physical because he had to make up for the height differential, right? And he didn't have the longest arms.
BMO bench presses Leonard Moore.
Yeah.
He was big.
But to me, the Marvin Harrison Jr. performance from BMO, I haven't seen that yet from Leonard Moore. Which again, I think this one was a great performance against
Lemon could be a top 3 wide receiver in next year's class. It's a weaker class, but him, Jordan Tyson, and one other guy are probably the top.
But like Marvin Harrison Jr. was the number 1 receiver with Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and himself.
And the number 2 overall pick.
I'd be interested how he locks down a guy in the playoffs, whether it's Jeremiah Smith or something.
So here's my thing.
I think if we play IU, we match up a lot better because we have Leonard Moore and Elijah Surratt than other teams do.
We did that last year, and Elijah Surratt did nothing.
Well, Curtis Rourke is also not as
Fernando
better.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
I'm
more saying like you give a quarterback who's and Elijah Surratt last year realistically was underused because of Curtis Rourke. This year he's being used correctly.
Wasn't Rourke injured like half?
That's torn ACL.
Yeah. So
playing on torn ACL.
Here's my thing. Like looking back now, with how Moore did perform when he did, this is the first time he's ever been asked to shadow a receiver an entire game. looking back in the national championship game, does he, if we have him do that against Jeremiah Smith, do we win the game, but does the game go a little differently?
Because at the end of the day, I still think they were trying their hardest to confuse the shit out of us, and it was working on those types of plays.
He was a freshman too, Ryan. Like a true freshman.
Ohio State, they had their players like audible out of spot. Like the first touchdown of the game, that was an amazing play call by Chip Kelly. They knew that they were going to have Christian Gray track him the whole time, so he has him go opposite side. Lerner Moore's not correcting that play because Lerner Moore's got to do the same thing Christian Gray did.
Now, another question I have, getting back to the running game, Jarrett, because we've seen a lot of great running back performances from Notre Dame, right? And I remember my time, the Josh Adams games where he went absolutely nuclear, the Kyron Williams games where he went nuclear.
Audric
Estime is what we saw from Jeremiah Love, the best performance we've ever seen from a Notre Dame running back, ever.
No, but it's
even with all the yards that he had, and he's breaking the record for the most yards in Notre Dame.
Is it crazy? I felt like it could have been even better in terms of with touchdowns and finishing drives and stuff like that.
It could have been a lot better.
Against Stanford had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He played Stanford, but still.
Ben?
I'd have to look at the only other person I competed with is Josh Adams. The one game he had the 99-yard touchdown. That's the only one I competed with, but I gotta look at what that game was.
Is that the Wake Forest game?
I was gonna say Wake Forest. I think it is Wake Forest. Year was that? That was 2018.
Yeah.
That's the only game I could compare it with, and I'm a Josh Adams lover. The other game maybe Kyron Williams against US or UNC.
Yeah. North Carolina run.
I'm talking about the first UNC game in 2020 where he scored 3 touchdowns, and he got LeBron to tweet about him and shit.
The Josh Adams.
This was the biggest spotlight for a big game for Notre Dame running back because he was already established. While people were like Kyron Williams, Audric Estime. People are like, yeah, Jeremiah Love's the best. And then he goes out there and does this on prime time. And I think that's why it's arguably, I think it's the most noticed for sure.
Williams against Clemson was a very, he had 3 touchdowns against Clemson as well. That first drive, the first play of the game, that's one of those where you talk about for the rest of your life, where were you when Kyron Williams broke it out?
I agree. Were y'all nervous? So USC marches down the field, scores, starts to rain a little more. We get the ball. I will say on USC's behalf with the weather, it was absolutely brilliant to request to receive the ball first to try to get scores before the rain. Very smart. Yeah. But after they score first, were you like, how's this going to go? But then you see Jeremiah Love run 2 runs and it's fine. Because you see Carr miss 2 passes. Love gets a big run. Carr misses a pass.
I
was more nervous. I was more nervous when we got the stop and we didn't score. Because I felt like every stop we got, and because we all talk about Lincoln Riley has the best opening plays out of any coach. He's amazing at his opening drives. His first 3 drives of the games. We got the fact that we had them score 10 total points in the first 3 drives of the game, and we weren't able to answer that with 21 points. That's what's me the most.
Realistically, we should have won that
game.
And
real quickly, I want to add in one other running back performance. Yeah. Dexter Williams against Virginia Tech. 178 yards, 3 touchdowns.
In Blacksburg?
Yeah. In Blacksburg. I think that is a very I don't think it's better than Love's, just because I think Love's was against a better team. Actually, I don't know. I think Virginia Tech had better defense that year.
Virginia Tech was ranked, but they lost to Old Dominion the week before.
Yeah, they were in the top 25. But I was more saying I think the defense.
Can I tell you a crazy story with that game?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the week they lost to Old Dominion, it was 2 weeks before, and I was in Richmond, Virginia at a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I went to the bathroom, washed my hands. I'm in a Notre Dame jersey, and there's this guy in a Virginia Tech jersey. He's like, I was like, sorry about the loss. And I don't remember if Notre Dame lost or not, or if they won, but they were like, yeah, we talked about it. He said he was going to be at the game. So I'm going to be at the game. Sold out Blacksburg. Went with my friend. We went. Blah blah blah. The person sitting next to me at the game was the guy that I saw in the bathroom. Isn't that wild? 2 weeks earlier,
That's
in
wild.
at an area in Virginia that's 4 or 5 hours away from Blacksburg in a sold out arena.
Oh, that's
Another
crazy.
another game, Josh Adams against Boston College. He didn't score a touchdown, but he had 229 yards on 18
Thanks
carries.
for
You know what?
ignoring the story, Ben. Yeah.
No,
Well, no, I
Also-
thought your story was. I was just going through big performances. Like,
no,
tell us more about. Tell us more about your, circle
My
jerk buddy in the
bathroom
bathroom.
experience. All right.
Yeah.
All right,
I just thought it
really
was
quick.
Virginia Tech.
The Josh Adams performance against NC State in 2017.
200 yards. Yeah.
That one was where he had. Well, I just remember the Mike Tirico call where he's like, "Josh Adams again," like because he had like 3 huge runs in that game for like touchdowns. That was during the 33 trucking Heisman.
That's when they were pushing that shit hard.
Yeah.
Well, he was like 20 yards or 30 yards away from breaking the college football record for most yards after contact by a running back.
Yeah.
Like he was. I remember. He ended the. Did he get hurt in the Stanford game that year?
I think he might have. I never understood why he never panned out in the NFL because he was
Maybe a lot
so
of
good.
reasons.
Did he get drafted or undrafted to the Jets?
He was
He was
undrafted.
undrafted to the Eagles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Well, okay, yes, he did get hurt in the.
Jets.
No, it was the Eagles.
He
It was
played
the
for the
Eagles.
Jets.
Oh, I thought you were talking about he was undrafted to the Eagles because I remember in Madden that year I used the my player thing. I ran with Josh Adams the whole year. But that game against Stanford, he had 20 carries for 49 yards. So he might have been hurt. That was the game Bryce Love went off against us and like demolished us. And KJ Costello had 4 motherfucking touchdowns.
Why do you think he didn't make it in the NFL?
He was a big running back. He was just a big running back who was slow.
He looked.
Same reason Audric Estime.
I don't know. He looked fast to me.
Audric Estime is a little different. He's a little bulkier, so I thought Estime would be a better
do you remember the 99-yard touchdown that Josh Adams had against Wake Forest? Like that was.
But there's other things with that as well. Like we can looking back at that game, Wake Forest, they were in a complete set, like they were boxing the zone, and he just bashed right through it. There was no one chasing him because no one was preparing for Josh Adams to bash right through it.
Wake Forest team too.
Yeah, and they were I don't remember what Josh Adams ran, but he ran like he had the 3rd or 4th slowest time for a running back in the combine that year.
That's crazy. I don't know. You just see same thing with Estime. They play faster on TV.
Well, yeah, they're
can't hold on to the ball though.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Well, Estime's biggest thing is that he's a gain speed guy, but he fumbled the ball way too much for a guy who's supposed to be a power back.
Michael Carter and Javonte Williams both had key roles. I know for a fact Jeremiah Love will be a 1st rounder. I'm starting to think Jadarian Price and that might not even be a 4th, 5th rounder. I think he could be a 2nd, 3rd rounder now.
Did you see the Mel Kiper's recent board? Jeremiah Love's number 1, Jadarian Price is number 3. So
I already know. I know the
Bengals are.
Does Price go somewhere where he's relevant next year?
I know the Bengals are heavily wanting to look at Price because Chase Brown's not turning out, and they like how Price is able to move upfield.
Yeah, Price is going to be gone next year. They're both gone.
I still think it'd be fucking hilarious if Price came back just because Jabril Payne. I'm gonna sit through all of it. I'm gonna sit behind Price. I'm gonna sit behind Estime. I'm gonna sit behind Love. I'm gonna compete. I want to play football in Notre Dame. If it did, there's Jadarian Price. Fuck you, buddy. I'm coming back.
So my thing is like if Jadarian Price does, if it's a situation where he gets told, hey, you'd probably be a late 2nd round, early 3rd round pick. If you're Notre Dame and you're Marcus Freeman, do you give him 2nd, 3rd round pick money to get him to come back for another year, or do you let him go?
You're getting a 5-star from Penn State potentially.
But that's not for another 2 years.
Well, he wouldn't be here until
after next year.
Yeah, he wouldn't be here until then. So yeah,
he would only be 1 year without him. So we could roll with Nolan James, Jabron Payne, and
Keidron Young, Aeneas Williams. You would just have an unknown commodity at running back. That would be the only thing.
My thing, I feel like it's got to depend on where the team's at. Realistically, I could be fucking wrong. And I made the joke earlier. He's got to pull Travis Etienne, Jeremiah Lovewell
Mm-hmm.
come back. Won't happen. Price, it's got to depend on where the team's at. We can afford to pay him second round money. I don't know if we should, but we can.
Would you, if the decision was up to you, would you?
I think it sets a bad precedent, so no. I would rather, get this kid the NFL, let him live out his dream.
I also think Notre Dame sending 2 running backs in the same year as like top 3 round picks, I think that would do wonders for running back recruiting in general. Like it would go a long way.
I've heard people
be an unselfish back and be drafted.
Yeah.
Well, I've also seen people say that maybe Price is a first round pick too, and they were looking into the fact that they're saying Price could be. They're saying that if Price was by himself at Notre Dame, he could do just as
If
he would
Price
do better
is a
than himself
first-round
right
pick
now.
Next year, I will send you $100, Ben.
Shake on it. Well, no, I'm just saying you got to look at it from this.
No, wait. Caveat to this though, I will do this trade. I will do this bet as long as Jeremiah Love does not get hurt and Price is.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm not going to give a shit if Price is a first round pick and Jeremiah Love gets hurt. But what I'm hearing from people, like the people that do like the draft like the scouting reports and shit, is that there's a lot of question about if Jadarian Price is by himself. If let's say he was at a school like Alabama, or if he went to a school like Georgia and he was by himself, and he was the number 1 back, and he was averaging 23 carries a game, how good could he really be? And how much better with everything else he can do as well as a blocking back? Because he's not missing blocks, and as a kick returner, he's a lot like Kyron Williams, but he's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know 2 things with him?
I don't think teams want to miss out on another Kyron Williams like they did with Kyron Williams.
I remember when he got hurt in the spring game, and I was like, I still think he looked so much flashier then, but he just looks so more solid now. Like it's
he looks faster. I've said this the last 2 years. Every year since he's been at Notre Dame, he's faster. A step. He's a step.
So good as like he was more shiftier, I think. Then now I think he's faster and just more of a bruiser. He's better. But Ryan, I had major deja vu with that kick return.
Oh yes, when we were at the
in the rain. When 2 years before we were at that game and he had a kick return against USC in the rain. I think we were down. No, we were up at that point. But it still was like, what is happening right now?
Dude, because my mom was at that game. When USC went up before the kickoff, I texted my mom during the commercial break and I said, what are the chances Jadarian Price houses this shit? And because my mom gets invested and she was fucking pissed at how we had been playing so far. And she's like, that's not going to happen, but it'd be nice. I'm like, okay, yeah, it would be nice. And then he proceeds to take that shit back 100 plus yards. The only thing he didn't do that he did against that one was do the signature peace sign that he did. Yeah. But the call for that is one of the greatest all-time calls I've heard for a Notre Dame game. Jadarian to Jahouse, that was a great call. That's why we need Noah Eagle to call all of our Notre Dame games instead of fucking Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett like this.
Yeah. Fucking.
I gotta tell you.
Last thing on this game, right? Because I kind of want to talk about this. CJ Carr had his worst performance. Sean mentioned it earlier. Some people in the group chat were kind of, Noah, who's been, recently has just kind of been the Debbie Downer every single week, is very concerned with CJ Carr's play the last couple of weeks. Me personally, I'm not concerned at all. I think the stuff we've seen, he's been very, 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 very fucking good and much better than what we anticipated coming into the year. I think to me, there's a certain amount of leeway you just have to live with and certain amount of mistakes you just have to deal with when you're breaking in a freshman quarterback who has never started before. That's just my opinion because I feel like that's football. That's normal. You see it in the NFL, you see it in college, you see it in high school. It just happens. It's a thing that you have to learn from. Now, the USC mistake, that was the most retarded shit I've seen a quarterback do. Don't care. Most retarded shit I've seen from a Notre Dame. I've seen a Notre Dame quarterback do in a very long time. But
Sir, I call bullshit. I saw Drew Pine throw it off the back of a center's head.
That's true. That is true. But to me, like outside of that play, which I said multiple times, like I can't give him a pass for that one, right? Because that's just you got to learn to throw it away. You held the ball for 15 seconds. The play is dead. There is nobody open. Throw it away.
I think that was off the turnover too.
It was. But that's my thing. Is like that's the only one I legitimately looked at Carr and I said, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Outside of that, the other 3 picks that he's had, 2 of them I chop up to just he hesitated and he made the wrong decision, right? And ended up in an interception. One was tipped. The other one I believe was tipped by Price. Or it was a slightly.
It was tipped by Price. It was tipped by Price, but realistically, what's his name? He made an amazing play on that ball to catch it.
Yeah.
And
then the one against NC State.
Oh, it was Justin Scott.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
No, that was just a guy. And then the one against NC State should have been a PI, but whatever.
You still throw away that football.
But it was PI. But yeah, I don't know how you guys feel. I'm still very happy with what we've seen.
If that's the worst game of CJ Carr's season, then we're winning the national championship. I will make that openly clear. We're winning it if that's the worst game of his season. Without also being said, I'm preparing for the Pittsburgh game to have a 3-interception game just because it feels like it's going to be one of those games where we just beyond fuck it up.
Yeah. Sean, what do you think?
I've always been a CJ Carr guy. I mean, just like I have been with Freeman. Always been a Freeman guy. Like when people said Northern Illinois, blah, blah, blah. I talked to this about my brother-in-law. Like you could just tell. Like with Freeman, we were close in big games for the first time. We weren't with Brian Kelly. You could tell, even though he had those bad losses, you could tell with the future. Same thing with CJ Carr. Even though he has those really bad picks occasionally, you can see the future with him. He could throw 3 picks next week against Boston College, and I will still be 100% CJ Carr.
Well, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
No, I would.
If he threw 3 picks against Boston College, I might throw my TV off the balcony. Because that Boston College team is bad.
But my thing is my question is, should we be freaking out right now?
No,
with the way he's been playing. I just don't get it. I don't to me. Yes, does he have?
And they ran the ball well.
Does he have decision-making issues he needs to work on? Yes, because I think the problem is he's a young guy. He's very confident in his ability to make plays when they're not there. And sometimes he just needs to realize, hey, this play is dead. I'm not going to be able to do what I did against Miami week 1 every single time a play breaks down and be able to throw a no-look pass for a touchdown. Like, to me, I chalk that play up against USC as maybe the Miami play for his first ever touchdown could have been one of the worst things to happen to him in terms of a experience thing, because he did that when a play broke down and it was dead, and he kept it alive and found a guy in the back of the end zone, right? So I'm thinking that entire time he's running around in the back against USC, I'm like, oh, maybe he can do it again.
Why are fans upset? Because we've had quarterbacks for the last 10 fucking years that have been afraid to sling the ball and have been check down merchants, have been medium.
Riley Leonard would have threw that ball away within 2 seconds.
Yes, but we finally have a guy that's willing to risk and make throws. It's going to come with some repercussions. I'd rather have someone fight and make a play better than just give up on a play. Yes, you should decision-making know certain times when to give up, but at least he's fighting for it. I'd rather have a guy that's going out there and taking shots versus, I'm just going to check it down. Drew Pine it. Ian Book it occasionally. And I love Ian Book. Riley Leonard was like that, but he could run. But this is the first time we've had a quarterback willing to sling it, and that's going to come with some mistakes occasionally.
I also
my main thing with it is that you have to. Those are plays where you can't say like, "Hey, at least you're taking a shot," because those are plays where you just gotta make the smart decision. Just get rid of the ball.
You kicked the
But
field.
no, what I'm saying, I understand, but we can't just keep saying, "Oh, well, Ryan Leonard checks it down." Ryan Leonard probably doesn't check it down. Ryan Leonard probably puts his head down and goes for the touchdown. He doesn't throw it, which works, doesn't work. I don't know, but I would rather them just say, "Okay, you know what? Play's dead. Fan row 23, here you go. Here's a free ball." Some shit like that. Not I can make a play here, like maybe if I catch this guy off guard. And also realistically, that was possibly the worst throw, like technique wise, I've seen CJ Carr have this season.
He threw it back across the middle of the field, which is something as a quarterback you never do.
No, and you could tell his process was off because he stopped his throw and then he went back and tried to do it again, and that's what led to the pick, was him stopping mid throw.
Well, and the thing is, it just wasn't there. I saw what he was trying to hit Fields. In that situation, Fields probably does need to work harder to get back towards the ball because he just kind of sat there.
Well, Fields probably thought, "Hey, this play's fucking dead. Like, why are we going to throw this football?"
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Malcolm Fields has played 25 games of football. He could tell when a play's dead.
Yeah. I think also, to me, even from the first drive, like Sean Brent to the missed easy throws, CJ to me seemed like he was forced, like he was in his head trying to play hero ball. He was trying and he was overthinking. And the thing is, I don't understand, right? And I think part of it is he's a freshman, is when he's at his best is when he's just on point. He's not thinking about it. He's not thinking too much. And he's just hitting it, just taking what's there. He did it against Miami, which is weird because it was the same situation. He's on the road. It's raining. He's getting fucking killed by his offensive line. And he goes out there and he's balling, right? He looks great. And then same thing against A&M. Looks fucking amazing. Looks great. He's not pushing it. He's not forcing it. I don't know why recently, last couple of games, I've noticed him try to force things and try to play too much hero ball. You can tell he's getting happy.
Well, I think that's just a learning curve that we're gonna have to deal with having a fresh quarterback.
But I will say that on the bright side, while he was having his off game, he was able to rely on his team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not all quarterbacks would do that.
This game ended up being to what I thought the Miami game was going to be.
I was going to say that.
I really thought this game ended up being what I really thought the Miami game was going to be. Except I didn't know if Jeremiah Love was going to run for 200 yards, but I thought that it was going to be Jerry and Price and Jeremiah Love were going to have to carry us to the win, and then we're going to call on CJ Carr to make certain throws.
All right, final thing on this game. Is Jeremiah Love a legit Heisman contender after this game? Do you think he has a legit shot to be in New York by the end of the season?
Yes, but here the issue with him is now he's starting to get up there in the yards. I don't know if he has enough yards. He definitely has the touchdowns, but with him splitting carries, this kind of hurts him compared to Agenti. But I think that if he keeps having certain games, like not 200 yards, but 150 yards, he's going to be in New York. But he's going to have games against Pitt where he's going to have 10 carries and 30 yards, and that's probably going to keep him out of there.
Man?
I think if Jeremiah Love leads the country in rushing yards, and if he leads in yards per average, I forget what the minimum is for attempts for that, but I want to say he has to average 6.5, right?
But I think more so he's going to have more touchdowns than he is going to have
yards.
He's probably not even going to be top 5 in yards.
I think he could be number 1 in yards. 100.
What is he right now?
He's 6.
Yeah.
Going into the bye. So we have 5 games left. And other teams already played 8 games.
And other teams have already had their bye too.
Yeah. Cam Cooks. Well, okay. all power five, all power four. He's third. Amal Hardy, who's currently sucking.
What
LJ
helps?
Martin, who's fifth.
What helps him is this is a very, and when I mean very, this is a very down year for Heisman. And every year in college football, I believe, I might be wrong. I think somebody told me this. It's either that ends in 25 or ends in 5. I think it's ends in 5.
And every year that ends in 5, a running back is winning the
won
Heisman.
So I do think that with it being such a down year, there really isn't anybody I would say, oh, I'm thinking it's Carson Beck, Klubnik. You could say Pavia, but he'll fall off. Maybe the Indiana quarterback, but
I think it's got to be either Mendoza or it's going to be Ty Simpson. That's what I think.
Yeah, but who knows? Indiana could. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Like if Indiana, we were talking about before the podcast where you came in, Sean. We were talking about Indiana UCLA week. If Indiana looks like a completely different team and they blow that shit up and they start sucking, it change. Or right now, I think Fernando Mendoza is the best quarterback in the country, and I think he's got to be number one. I think he's got to win the Heisman.
It's weird because I think he is playing like the best, but I don't think he is the best, and I think he's definitely going to be overdrafted next year.
What did you say?
You know what's crazy though is Jeremiah.
I think that he is playing like the best, but I don't think he's the best. There's two differences. He's not the best quarterback in college football, but I think he's playing like.
I think he's the best quarterback in football. Stuff that he does, the throws he's made, like he's what Garrett Nussmeier's supposed to.
Personally, I think CJ Carr is more talented than Mendoza is, but more talented.
I think Julian Sayin is more talented than him too.
Like I think Dante Moore
is more talented, but I think that Mendoza is playing like the best quarterback in the country and well deserved.
When I look at talent, one big thing I look at is decision making. And you just named two guys who I think have made the worst decisions in college football right now. And I understand they're but that's Dante Moore's a fucking junior, so he started at UCLA. But no, I'll give it to Carr that he's a redshirt freshman. But Dante Moore, like some shit that he's done, like there's no excuse.
Like
the quarterbacks in next year class, we're gonna go to like Klubnik, Nussmeier, and Sellers to it being Mendoza, the quarterback for Oklahoma maybe, and then being Dante Moore and Nussmeier.
I'm not gonna lie, the quarterback class this year is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I just think Mendoza's gonna be number one overall pick because I think it's
next year. I don't think Carr is going to go because I think that's when Arch and others go, and I think he can wait one more year to be the next.
I don't think Arch is ever going to go to the draft.
How bad he looks. But
Arch goes to the draft, he's going to be Shedeur Sanders 2.0.
But after next year, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be draft eligible, if I'm not mistaken.
Like next year, Carr's draft eligible. Manning's already draft eligible, who probably won't go until next year. Like Garrett Nussmeier will probably go. Kate Klubnik will probably go.
Realistically, I could see Carr. He would be draft eligible next year. I don't think he'll enter the draft next year.
I think it's got to really depend on where we're at as a team. I think if he's getting first round grades, I could definitely see him going. I don't think he goes to be a second or third round.
You better be more thinking about Notre Dame winning a natty.
Well, he better get us a natty first, and then he can leave.
I don't care what he does if he gets me a natty. He can go play for the AFL, CFL, NFL.